The initial scene portrays a single cell dividing into numerous cells. Following this, a prehistoric figure drinks from a lake, while Lucy, portrayed by Scarlett Johansson, reflects on the origins of life billions of years ago and questions the human race's progress since then. In the modern day, Lucy and her partner Richard, played by Pilo Asbæk, stand outside a Taiwan hotel. Richard requests that she take a briefcase to a room belonging to Mr. Zhang, played by Choi Min-sik, and offers her $500 for doing so. However, Lucy declines to fulfill the task until she knows its contents. Richard then handcuffs the briefcase to Lucy's wrist, leaving her with no choice but to complete the delivery. Lucy heads into the lobby and informs the receptionist that Richard has sent her to see Zhang. Anxious, she provides her name to the clerk. Looking out of the window, Lucy sees Richard with a smile on his face and attempting to offer support before being shot and dying. Shortly after, a gang of criminals appears from the elevator and coerces Lucy into going up with them. The sequence is intercut with footage of a cheetah pursuing a gazelle, attacking it, and then transporting its lifeless body in its jaws. Lucy is brought to Zhang's apartment, where she is confronted with a gruesome sight of bloodied corpses on the floor, causing her to vomit. Zhang emerges from the room with his hands covered in blood and uses a translator to communicate with Lucy. She is left in tears, confused about the situation. Zhang hands her a piece of paper with the code 140 written on it, which she uses to open a briefcase containing 4 1G bags of blue powdered crystals. Zhang brings in a man who is high on drugs to sample the blue powder. The man reacts violently, convulsing and laughing hysterically, before Zhang shoots him in the head. Lucy is given a task, which she initially refuses until she is struck. Lucy regains consciousness in a hotel room and notices a bandage on her stomach. Zhang's men enter and toss her some clothes. The Lime, a British man, joins them and informs Lucy that she and the other men have been implanted with a new drug called CPH4 in their lower intestines, which they plan to smuggle across the world. Subsequently, Lucy is locked up in a room and restrained, while one of the thugs tries to sexually assault her, and then proceeds to kick her in the abdomen where she was wounded. This causes a rupture in the drug pouch, allowing the powder to enter Lucy's system. She convulses violently, flailing around the room and even levitating until she finally collapses back down onto the floor. The scene cuts to Professor Samuel Norman, Morgan Freeman, lecturing to a classroom about his brain research. Specifically, the potential outcomes if humans were able to surpass the commonly held belief that they only use 10% of their brain capacity. Norman explains how the brain would respond to different environments, including the possibility of achieving immortality or engaging in reproduction. If someone was dissatisfied with their surroundings, they would opt for immortality and move to a new location, whereas those content with their surroundings would be more likely to reproduce with accompanying images of various species engaging in sexual activity. Norman also explains that if humans were to access up to 40% of their brain capacity, they could manipulate matter demonstrated by footage of a magic show. When asked what would happen if humans reached 100%, Norman admits he has no knowledge of the potential outcomes. Lucy regains consciousness with bright blue eyes and a newfound calmness. One of Zhang's thugs enters the room, and Lucy attempts to seduce him by spreading her legs. The thug falls for it and puts his gun down on a nearby table, approaching Lucy. Lucy flips the thug over by grabbing his belt and takes the gun. She frees herself and shoots the other thugs while they're eating, sustaining a gunshot wound in the process. However, Lucy is able to remove the bullet from her shoulder without experiencing any pain. She proceeds to eat the thug's food before leaving the room. Outside, she encounters 2 taxi drivers and shoots one in the leg before persuading the other to take her to the hospital. While on her way to the hospital, Lucy's senses are heightened, allowing her to hear people's conversations outside of the car. Upon arriving at the hospital, she is able to read signs clearly, as if they were in her native language. She enters an operating room where doctors are attending to a patient. Lucy examines the patient's X-ray scans and concludes that the tumor in his brain has already spread too far for the doctors to save him. She shoots the man, forcing the doctors to take the bag of drugs out of her stomach. Afterwards, she calls her mother to express her love and to share that she is now able to feel everything, even accessing her deepest memories from childhood. She then hangs up the phone. The doctor removes the drug bag from Lucy's stomach. He informs her that it's a substance produced by pregnant women as a nutrient for the fetus at 6 weeks into pregnancy. The doctor expresses surprise that Lucy has been able to survive with the drug inside her for so long. Lucy returns to the hotel to confront Yang, who is in the midst of getting a tattoo and facial. She kills his guards and interrupts the tattoo artist before sticking knives in both of Zhang's hands. With her enhanced abilities, Lucy delves into Zhang's mind and visualizes the plane tickets of the other 3 drug mules. Discovering where they're headed, after obtaining the information, she leaves and Zhang screams out in agony. Lucy heads to her friend Caroline's apartment to use her laptop. In a matter of seconds, she reads all of Professor Norman's research and contacts him to share what she has learned. He is amazed that she has read everything and listens intently as she describes her current state of being, having now accessed up to 20% of her brain capacity. Lucy demonstrates her ability to manipulate electronics by appearing on Norman's TV. She arranges to meet with him in 12 hours. Before leaving, she prints out a prescription for Caroline, warning her that her liver and kidneys are failing and urging her to make lifestyle changes to improve her health. As Lucy travels through the airport, she learns that news of her shooting the patient has spread, prompting her to change her hair color and style. She contacts Captain Pierre Del Rio, a French policeman, to provide him with information about the other drug mules. She then boards the plane and continues to delve into her research on the brain, typing furiously on her laptop. Despite the flight attendant's request to turn off her computer, Lucy requests a glass of champagne and performs an experiment, causing one of the flight attendants to have a nosebleed. She toasts to knowledge and takes a sip, and suddenly 40% flashes on her computer screen. After discovering teeth in her champagne glass, Lucy starts spitting out more teeth and her skin begins to disintegrate. The other passengers and flight attendants witness her condition deteriorating as her fingers start disappearing and her face begins to melt. She rushes to the bathroom and consumes the remaining C4. However, she faints soon after. When Lucy regains consciousness, she is in a hospital room with Del Rio and other officials who have just captured the other drug mules. As she sits up abruptly, the nurse gets alarmed. Meanwhile, GI, one of Zhang's associates, arrives with armed men to find the remaining mules. Lucy and Del Rio reach a university to meet Norman and his colleagues, where Lucy starts revealing her newfound insights and experiences as her brain function surpasses that of an average human. Meanwhile, Zhang and his men arrive and start attacking the place. Lucy hands over the remaining CPH4 to the professors, who synthesize it into a liquid form and inject it into her bloodstream. As a result, her brain function reaches 70%, and her hands transform into a wormy, black goo that connects to the computers in the room, providing her with even more power. She gains control over matter and seems to erase everything in the room, creating a new age supercomputer before the astonished eyes of the professors. Zhang orders his henchman Ji to take action from outside the university, and Ji uses a rocket launcher to blast through the room. As a result, Lucy is catapulted to Times Square, thousands of miles away. Lucy uses her power to manipulate time and travels back in time, all the way from early 20th century New York to colonial times, and even prehistoric times, where she encounters the primitive human from the beginning of the movie. They touch fingers, which sends Lucy on a journey through the universe and all of time, granting her with limitless and boundless power. Zhang approaches Lucy with a gun and prepares to shoot her. But at that moment, Lucy reaches 100% of her brain function. She disappears, leaving her clothes behind. Zhang shoots at nothing, and Del Rio enters the room. Killing Zhang, the black matter vanishes and transforms into a flash drive that Norman receives, expanding his research. Del Rio inquires about Lucy's whereabouts, and a message appears on his phone stating, "Make sure to subscribe our channel and turn on the notification for more videos. Give a like and leave a comment. Thanks for watching."